Hi, I'm Allison Cave, and we're here at Butter and Scotch, a bar and bakery in Brooklyn, New York. And today I'm going to show you how we make our s'mores pie.
Cool.
All right. So to start, we first start off with our crust. We make a graham cracker crust for this pie because s'mores and graham crackers are a no-brainer. We make our own graham crackers because everything here is done from scratch, but you can absolutely use store-bought graham crackers at home and just grind them up in a food processor or by hand, and then we'll add our melted butter to that. So you kind of just want to get it to the texture of like wet sand so that it's easy to press into your pie shell. Pardon my reach. So we're just going to pour over some melted butter and using our hands just mix it in.
Is this one of your most popular pies here?
This is by far the most popular pie here. Yeah, it's like a total crowd pleaser. I've been making this pie actually since I started. I had a pie company before we opened Butter and Scotch called First Prize Pies, and this was my most popular pie then as well. When I first tried out this recipe, I actually used dark chocolate for the filling, and it was just way too rich and intense and didn't give me that sort of nostalgia that I want from a s'mores recipe. And so I found that using a really high quality milk chocolate is the way to go. You know, something not too sweet but that still has that kind of creaminess that you want. All right, so I just added a little bit more butter, and that's getting to where I want it to be. So just make sure it's really well blended, and then we're gonna press it into our pie tin. And we use, you know, the disposable aluminum tins here since we're selling these out of the shop, but you can absolutely create this recipe in any type of pie pan that you have.
So for people just joining, where are we right now? What street are people looking at right now?
Okay, so this is Franklin Avenue in Crown Heights in Brooklyn. We are in this wonderful neighborhood with lots of great restaurants and shops. We're right near the Brooklyn Museum and the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. It's a really wonderful neighborhood to be part of. Okay, so I just added in about a cup of these crumbs. I like to eyeball it, but you can measure it out if you want to be super precise. And when I shape my crumb crust like this, I like to start with the sides and just use the flat of two of my fingers on my dominant hand to press them against the walls of the pie tin. And then I finish with the bottom. So I'll add some more crumbs here and just press everything down. And you want like a nice, firm, tight layer. We don't actually pre-bake or blind bake our crumb crust. I know that a lot of people do, but we find that if you use firm pressure when you're pressing in the crust, it's not necessary. It doesn't get soggy. All right. So I'm just going to clean up the edges here, and that's what you're looking for. So I could do a bunch more of these, but we're gonna move along.
How many pies would this batch make?
So this isn't that much of the graham. I would say this will probably make another 4 shells or so, 3 to 4 shells. But we have enough filling ingredients here for 18 pies.
Cool.
So we're gonna do that because we like to be efficient here. We have a lot of production to do. So I have here, so the recipe for a single pie is really easy for the filling. It's about a ½ pound of high quality milk chocolate. To that you add a cup of scalded but not boiling heavy cream, a ⁻4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 egg. So we're just scaling that up to do 18.
Cool.
So this is about 9 pounds of milk chocolate, and I have 18 cups here of heavy cream that is scalded. Look at that. This It's never not satisfying. So when you do this, you want to give it a few seconds or a minute or so for the chocolate to melt from the heat of the cream, and that'll allow you to whisk it into a nice ganache. So we're just going to let that rest. I'm going to add the salt to it now. So I'm just going to sprinkle that over. And then we can start whisking. Okay, so this is basically just like a thin ganache at this point, and now we're gonna add the eggs to make it a custard. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add this. And you can see the texture immediately changes. It starts to thicken up. It becomes, you know, a little bit gloopier, as we say in the biz. Gloopy texture. And that is literally it for the filling. It is the easiest thing.
Easy.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're making this at home, it's definitely you know, whenever you have a recipe that has few ingredients, where it's just like 3 things coming together to make something, obviously the quality of those ingredients becomes so much more important. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is for this to use a really high quality chocolate, something that, you know, doesn't have a lot of like all those waxes and stabilizers and stuff. All right. So now we're going to ladle this into our tin. And you just want to do it until it's like almost full, but you want to leave a little bit of room for the marshmallow that we're going to top it with. And that's it. This is going to bake for at 350 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes. You want to rotate it once halfway through. Just keep an eye. And as soon as it's set all the way through, you can pull it out and let it cool before the next step.
Cool.
So because of the magic of TV, Facebook, I don't know what we're calling this, we already have some shells made and ready to top. And I also already have some marshmallow ready to go. We also make our own marshmallow for this pie. I think a lot of people are intimidated by that, but it really is a very simple process, especially if you have a stand mixer. It really comes together in no time, and it makes a really big difference. But if you are trying to whip something up quickly, you can absolutely use store-bought marshmallows, and just heat them over a double boiler to make them pourable. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these finished shells. So you can see this is what it'll look like after it's come out of the oven and cooled for a bit. And now we're going to top it with our homemade marshmallow. So I just kept this nice and warm over a double boiler. And all that this is sugar, water, gelatin, a little bit of corn syrup, and vanilla. I know that a lot of people think corn syrup is evil, and I definitely understand that, but whenever you're making candies, caramels, marshmallow, you need an invert sugar, something that's a stable liquid sugar, to use to get the texture that you want. So it could be corn syrup, it could be honey, it could be molasses. If you're cool with adding those flavors to your recipe, then you can absolutely use those. But a plain light corn syrup, not a high fructose corn syrup, is really a simple and not evil product. So that's what we use for this. So now we're gonna pour this over. This is kind of the most fun part. I think that's what you guys call food porn. And now I'm just gonna spread it across to fill the surface. Okay, and then the actual most fun part is burning it. So we use a torch for this. You know, s'mores have to be toasted. That's the entire thing, right? So you can do this in the broiler on your in your oven. You have to be very mindful of that and keep a really close eye on it because it can go from toasted to burnt in a second. But I love this thing, and if you have like a creme brulee torch or any kind of kitchen torch, it's a surprisingly useful gadget. You'll find that you use it more than you thought you might. It's great for finishing meats and fish and all kinds of things. So we're gonna light this baby up. Oh man, there we go. Are you working? I like to be temperamental. There we go. Okay, so this is like a high-powered one. And you're just going to toast the surface. I wish there was smell-o-vision on this thing because this is the best smell ever. I like to get it pretty dark. I just think that charred sugar flavor is amazing with all of the richness of the pie. And that's it. S'mores pie.
Beautiful. So where can people come and try this pie?
So you can come and try this at Butter and Scotch. We are in Crown Heights, Brooklyn on Franklin Avenue between Eastern Parkway and Union Street. We also ship this, so you can order it through our website at butterandscotch.com and have it sent right to your door. And they're available in some other groceries and specialty shops here in New York as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.